Hello, friends. Good morning. Good morning on this Thursday morning. It is 9 o'clock. It's 9:02. Don't hate me. Here's what we know. We have Philadelphia Phillies baseball this afternoon at 1 o'clock that I'm super excited for. And we know the Sixers won last night and they blew out a team that they were supposed to blow out. And, it's kind of just boring ass basketball to this point, but they keep winning. Before we begin, how about this? Cheers, everyone. Brought out the Sports Talk with Brodes mug. There's a light right there that's kind of ruining the vibe. Oh, 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 oh. No. Nope. Cheers, Oh, hey, there it is. No light on it. No glare. How about that? Good looking character, huh? Let's take a sip. Cheers, everyone. I thought I just dripped some on my shirt. Good thing I didn't. What's up, Joseph? What's up, Arm Zebra? What's up, everybody, for hanging around? Pickle Rick, how are you? Where do we want to begin today? Another one-run game for the Philadelphia Phillies as Jose Alvarado. Listen to this amazing sequence we had to witness. JoJo Romero, Kinsler, Matt Moore in the 7th inning, De Los Santos in the 8th inning, and Jose Alvarado in his return gets the old nod to close out the game in the 9th inning. And bang, Didi Gregorius with a good defensive play comes up, throws it over to first to Reese Hoskins. Was able to get the out there, which was huge for that 9th inning because you know how things can get. It can get ugly. It can get scary. And they were able to cruise right on through that 9th inning. There was one base runner, if I remember correctly there. But at the end of the day, Jose Alvarado with 99 at the knees, as our friend Tom McCarthy said to end the game, was able to finish off the job. So good win for the Phils. I mean, they're always going to put you in a position where you feel nervous, where you feel scared, where you feel upset, where you feel woozy, but they're winning baseball games. If they could find a way to win 4 straight and sweep through the Brewers, we'll see though. Now, what I need to do is go to, because I haven't looked yet today. What we need to do is the unthinkable. Actually, it's the very thinkable. Let's check the weather. Let's check the forecast. I love how this is now a segment in this show. We have at 1 o'clock, 62 and sunny. At 2 o'clock, 63 and partly cloudy. At 3 o'clock, 64 and partly cloudy. And at 4 o'clock, 65 and mostly cloudy. So it looks like we're going to have a good day of baseball at Citizens Bank Park. How about it? I can't wait. Zach Wheeler on the bump. And they are throwing. Man, I know this. I talked about it yesterday, and I think I even wrote it down. It is. Did I not write it down? Oh, yeah, Woodruff. It's Zach Wheeler versus Woodruff. And Woodruff has like a 1.8 ERA-ish or so. A 1.8 ERA-ish or so. I guess that's kind of how he's got a 1.8. How about that? Right on the money, as they say. And Zach Wheeler with a 3.49 and a 2.2 ERA. So, look, it'll be interesting. I think this is going to be a fascinating pitching matchup. Good morning, Evan. What's up, man? What's going on? Someone mentioned George Peros. Yeah, so Christian, we just we just recorded the Open Ice Hits episode that will be dropped after Coffee with Brodes. So when Coffee with Brodes is over, I'll export the video, export the podcast. So if you're looking for Open Ice Hits, which is the NHL podcast that I do with Kevin Durso, that will be uploaded some point after Coffee with Brodes. It was already recorded this morning. So for about 50 minutes, we literally ripped apart Tom Wilson, everything we saw last night with the game. And yeah. Everything that happened last night in the NHL, we ripped apart. Chris says, how can you only get one base runner after the first 5 batters? Wheeler gets hit around today. Yeah, I mean, there's a problem with this offense. There seems to be a common theme of we're going to score runs early and then our bats are just going to go completely quiet. Peralta had something like 6 straight strikeouts after a Didi Gregorius grand slam, and then the offense goes quiet. So there is this common trend. They did enough to win a baseball game, and it's somewhat I worded this in the post game show like this. If let's say, and we'll use Zach Wheeler as the example, right? Let's say Zach Wheeler ends up dealing through 7 innings, but the first inning he allowed 5 runs. After the game, we would acknowledge that he battled and settled in, but you lost the game in the first inning because you weren't prepared inning 1. If the Phillies bats go quiet, but they win a game because of how strong their bats were in inning 1, shouldn't the message be, I'm not proud, I'm not super stoked, I'm not jumping up for joy it played out that way where they got retired a lot in a row, but they did enough because of how explosive they were in the first inning. If we're going to rip Wheeler for an outing after one bad inning but being strong afterwards, can't you praise the Phillies offense for having the one inning that was significant enough to win the game, even though that they were quiet afterwards? Yeah, the Rangers was crazy last night. Yeah, well, it was embarrassing in my opinion. That's not hockey anymore. That's not hockey anymore. There were people that liked it. It's not 1975 anymore. It's time to realize where we are. I'm not saying you guys specifically love it. I think it's a joke for the league, though. And if you want to hear more thoughts on it, I'm telling you, we went off for 50 plus minutes of it on the Open Ice Hits podcast that will be up shortly. So if you are interested in hearing more thoughts on where, I mean, we were fired the hell up. We were pissed off this morning for how the NHL handled Tom Wilson. And yeah, it's just crazy. I think Kevin Durso said it best. We just started this hockey podcast a couple months ago. We already have an episode titled Tom Wilson's suspension. And now we're already talking about the same debacle, not only months later, and he didn't even get suspended, which is, I mean, the league just handled this in such a terrible way, and they deserved what happened yesterday. They really do. Is it? Whoops. Whoops. I don't know what just happened there. Bryce here says, is bad look, but they got more eyes on the sport. But that's not good. You're getting more eyes on the sport for a negative way. You're putting eyes on the sport for such a bad thing. If that's why people want to go see hockey, then go watch boxing. Then go watch UFC. If that's what you want to see when you watch hockey, then you don't like hockey. And if that's the product that gets more eyes, well, then hockey's in a really bad spot. Like it might have got, and also, if that happens every night, it loses its power. It's rare for that to happen. It's not normal for that to be the case. So the fact that someone getting suspended or should have gotten suspended but didn't get suspended is the reason why people are watching your game. Well, then you have a problem. And if hockey only gets eyes because of 10 fights within 2 seconds, well, then you have a serious issue and you got a major problem, and you're going to have to figure out a whole nother way to restart your entire sport because, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing what happened yesterday. Absolutely embarrassing that the league made that happen. The league was you know why that happens? Because you can't police yourself. No, it's not why it didn't fucking happen. That happened because you're not policing the league. Your job as NHL player safety is to make sure that garbage doesn't happen last night. You as a league did not protect your players. You as a league made that happen. The reason why that happened wasn't because players aren't allowed to police themselves. The reason why that happened, and the perfect example is what happened with Joel Farabee the other night. Joel Farabee and Friedman went at it. They handled business. They both went to their bench. The reason why you're in the predicament that you are in isn't because you're not allowed to police yourself. You are allowed to police yourself. It's because the league didn't police the ugliest of the ugly. And when you don't police that with Tom Wilson, you're going to get yourself into some trouble. So, fuck you, NHL player safety. That's what I have to say. It's unfortunate, but I mean I disagree about the Rangers thing. You're right. He's just going to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. That's what's going to happen. Nonstop, over and over and over again, because they're not disciplining him enough. It's crazy. Yeah, player safety's been bad. I disagree, Andrew. Like, the league isn't that way anymore. There's not billions of fighters. So you're not just going to have a billion fighters. I think the Rangers did what they needed to do. They dropped them as much as they possibly could. You're making a statement going after Tom Wilson early. I mean, and then it's crazy. Whoever made the decision to sit Tom Wilson, shocker. Not playing Tom Wilson was more beneficial. Huh. Who would have thought that maybe taking Tom Wilson out of the game would have been phenomenal? Huh. Could have told you that before the game started. What a joke. But anyway, we'll talk more about that on the Open Ice Hits podcast if you're looking for more Tom Wilson screaming, because trust me, there was a lot in me for sure. Do I think the NHL signing with ESPN will make more people watch the sport? Yeah, I do. I do think so, because there's people who naturally throw on ESPN just to watch anything, whatever's on, whether it's cornhole, bago, you name it, whatever's on ESPN, people sometimes just throw it on. College baseball. How many times do you see college softball on or college baseball and you just throw it on because it's on ESPN and it's something to watch? I think naturally, if you're looking for sports and you're just looking for some casual background noise, if that's what you're looking for, and you're not ready to legitimately dive in pitch by pitch with college baseball, and you're just watching sports in general, I think, yeah, hockey will be that. Hockey will absolutely be that. I do. Dude, Ray Ferraro is the best in the business. Now, I don't know. I haven't done any research. I'm just basing this off of what you're saying here. I haven't heard anything about Ray Ferraro, but man, I'll tell you what, I'll Google it, because if I'm getting Ray Ferraro on ESPN, I am stoked. I am stoked. I haven't seen anything about that though. Report: Eddie Olczyk, Ray Ferraro find new roles. Uh-oh. With Turner Sports and ESPN. Stop it. Insane. Hearing that after talks with what happened? Hearing that after talks with Turner and ESPN, Eddie Olczyk has agreed to a 5-year deal to become Turner's lead NHL analyst starting next season. Word is Olczyk will have freedom to cover horse racing for NBC. Also hearing Ray Ferraro is in line to become ESPN's lead analyst. Let's go. Let's go. Am I reading this right? Thank you so much, Michael, for the 500. I don't know what that Y is. Should I know what that Y is? I feel terrible for not knowing what the Y is. I'm going to Google it. Y currency. That's a yen. Is that what that is? A yen? Thank you for the 500 yen. That is amazing. I am I'm a little stunned. I'm stunned. I am lost for words. Um Wow. Michael, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I really greatly appreciate it. Everyone's making fun of me for not knowing what the Y is. I really do apologize for not knowing that. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say. It's fine. Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay, now that I'm doing still $5 is $5. You're right. When you see 500, you get taken back a little bit. But thank you so much for the $5 donation. I really do appreciate it. I love how everyone in the chat's like, Brodes, it's $5. I $5 is $5. I'm very appreciative of $5. Thank you very much. When you see 500, it is a little like, whoa, what's going on here? But thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, that's where we are today. Let's have some more coffee, everybody. That's the kind of day that hey, let's have some coffee. Am I right? Amazing. Amazing. You get the goosebumps. Sixers needs the hurry. Sixer season needs to hurry, says Chris. I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. You were acting like you won the lottery. Look, you see 500, and 5 is amazing. 5 is phenomenal. 5 is fantastic. 99 cents is fantastic. 50 cents is fantastic. Anything is fantastic. You know? But let's get back into some sports talk here. Sixer season needs to hurry. Playoffs, baby. Chris, I'm with you, man. There's no way, like every time I talk about the Sixers in a post-game show and I say, like, I'm bored, I'm bothered, the amount of people, Brodes, how could you possibly be bothered with this team? They're smoking squads. Dude, how can you possibly be entertained by this is my question. How can you sit there and be entertained by this? It's not fun. And it's not their fault. I'm not saying it's the Sixers' fault. They're handling business. They're doing what they need to do. They're winning basketball games, and they're doing it by a large margin. They're cruising through teams. They're dominating squads. I mean, they're doing what is supposed to happen. But when I see that the Houston Rockets are throwing up absolute trash on the court, just like the last 7 games, it seems, what am I supposed to do? And when they're winning by 28, 27 points, Mike Scott's playing garbage time. I mean, the natural reaction is the way that I'm feeling, right? The way that I'm feeling. Gamer says, I'm entertained. LOL, we're handling business. I got it. We're handling business. But don't you already know? I mean, it comes down to a simple statement. You already know what your team is. You're not going to learn anymore. And you're already in position to go get the number 1 seed. Nothing that's going to that you're going to see and nothing that's going to happen is going to change your thoughts on where this team is. You know where they are. You know everything about this team. All the questions we have are valid. Now we need to know what is going to happen in the postseason. Will Joel Embiid play an MVP-like playoff run? Will you get Tobias Harris closer's role? What will Doc Rivers and his rotations look like? You know everything you need to know about the Philadelphia 76ers. Danny Green's corner threes are going to be electric. Seth Curry's going to have off nights that frustrate you, and he's going to have really hot nights that make you feel like, damn, he's the better Curry brother. It's all there, man. Like we already know. So can we please just get to the playoffs? The NBA has become a joke. It's always been this way. The problem is the Sixers have never been in this position. We've never felt this way about the Sixers because they've never been this championship ready in so long. When you have an NBA championship ready to win team, this is the NBA regular season. Get us to the playoffs. Can we please go win the playoffs? Can we please get to the second round? Can we please get to the third round? When you have an NBA caliber team, all those teams with LeBron, you think were in game 72 of an 82-game season, the Cleveland Cavaliers were just anticipating the next regular season game? Absolutely not. When the Golden State Warriors were going on their runs and they were winning a bunch of games, you think game 75 and game 72, they were excited for regular season basketball? Absolutely not. We're just in a different mentality now because this is the first time that we feel the way that we do about the Sixers, where they are more ready to win than they ever were before. So this is natural. This is standard. We're just not used to it as a fan base because the Sixers haven't been in this position in so damn long. Philly fan for life says, I want to see Sixers Bucks. And there is a little bit of me that does want to see Sixers Bucks. I'm going to be honest with you. I am fascinated by that matchup. There's something with Brooklyn where they have firepower, of course, but I don't know. Something just seems off about that team. Maybe it's the fact that they just thought that they could throw everything together and pick up an Aldridge, although unfortunately he had to retire due to some health stuff, and picking up Blake Griffin and picking up every guy. Like something just doesn't seem right with the Brooklyn Nets. The scary part is when you have Kevin Durant, when you have Kyrie Irving, who knows when it comes down to playoff basketball, maybe they just flip the switch and they roll. But I've seen a lot of teams try and flip the switch, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Majority of the time, it's very hard to just flip the switch. So, but you're also talking about the elite of the elite in Kevin Durant. And when you do flip the switch, when the rare ones do, when those circumstances do happen, it normally is the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron Jameses. So, that's definitely part of this. The Bucks team are a legit team. Drew Holiday was a legit acquisition. Giannis and the way that Ben Simmons could play him defensively. And I have my concerns. Like, that matchup actually scares me, maybe more than Brooklyn does. And every time I say that, I go watch Kevin Durant, and it's a big spit in the face because then I'm remembered of Kevin Durant and his special talent. But yeah, there's a bit of me, just to kind of resurface here. There's a bit of me that thinks, man, it would be dynamite, and I mean dynamite, to see a Sixers-Bucks Eastern Conference Finals. Team basketball-wise, going back and forth, throwing haymakers for 7 games. There's something to that. There's really something to that for sure. Do I think that they would have been better if the Nets never traded for James Harden? I mean, the guy got hurt, so it's hard to tell. A healthy James Harden, I can have a different discussion about it. The problem is he had an injury, and then there was a setback. So you never really got to see what the vision was. You never really got to watch them play full throttle for enough time to really see what their ceiling is. In theory, their ceiling is amazing, right? In theory, they can go for a nice ride and be phenomenal with those 3 players. You never got to see it. So the problem isn't them being healthy and it not looking right. The problem is you're not healthy. So with the James Harden acquisition, I don't think the problem was, like, I think them 3 all healthy, we could be looking at them completely different. We just haven't been able to see that. And that's where I guess the difference is for me. I saw someone mention Ben Simmons. I guess I'm trying to find that in the comments section because I do want to touch on Ben because of last night, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it because of how many comments came through, and I appreciate all the comments, and I'm still scrolling, and I'm still scrolling, and I'm still scrolling, and I'm going to give up, and I'm going to give up, and I'm going to give up, and I'm going to give up. Give up. Someone mentioned Ben Simmons, so if someone wants to comment the words Ben Simmons, I'll pop it up on the screen. But yeah, with Ben, it's to the point of I don't care about these fadeaway jump shots in a game against this Houston Rockets team. That is, I'm understanding that it will make some of you feel good. And I'm understanding that some will feel positive about that because in theory, it's a step in the right direction. I am not ruling that out. I think that is understandable. Where I have the problem, though, is the fact that it's irrelevant. Like, to me, it's irrelevant. You're going to do it once, and we're never going to see it again. You're going to do it one time, and then we're never going to see it again for another 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. So I can't hold on to that. If I see it where he does it 15 games in a row, that's my threshold. That's the minimum. 15 games in a row, then I will get excited for the Ben Simmons jumper. All right? And as those 15 games move forward, game 5, game 6, game 7, sure, the excitement level will grow with it. I don't think we're ever going to get there. So quite frankly, it doesn't really matter. I don't think we'll ever get to that point where Ben Simmons is taking 15 fadeaway J's in a game. But yeah, it almost gets me more upset. It almost takes me the other way when I see Ben dial up jump shots like that because it just shows me that you wanted to that night. And that's fine. You wanting to matters to me. Why don't you want to more? I want to tap into that brain of yours, Ben Simmons, because it's flawed. My brain's flawed too. We all have a bunch of flaws. You're allowed to be flawed. But when you know your flaw, work on your flaw. And when you know your flaw in an NBA setting, work on it more than you are, dude. Because we're how many years in deep into your career? And can we please start shooting more? Please, please, please. Yeah, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. And I've stressed this enough. This is where I think I have the dilemma. And I've mentioned this many, 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 many times. But it's fascinating. And it's crazy. If I'm defending Giannis and he's taking threes, I'm doing my job. I want you to do that. Take threes. Take threes because you're not good at it. You might be willing. You're not good, though. And if you're not good, I want you to take as many threes in the world. So my point is this. Teams want Ben to take threes. If I'm on the other side of Ben Simmons and I'm watching Ben take threes, I'm laughing. You're doing everything I want you to do. You're taking threes at a very low percentage. Giannis is shooting 31% from three. He shot 30 last year. He shot 25 the year before. He's a career 29% from three guy. If I'm on the other team, he's not making them, though. He's not. He's not. 31% is trash and he shoots 29%. So it's a tick up. And look, the only way to get better is to keep doing it. So I'm not going to act as if I don't want him to ever shoot. Like, that's the only way you grow. As a player, you don't go from 0 to 100. So you're going to have to take strides. I'm with you. 29% career and 31% now. 31 is, he came in the league shooting 34, close to 35%. Although he only took 1.5 attempts per year or per game. Now he's taking 3.7, which is actually down from last year. And I think there's a reason why. Last year, he was shooting 30% at about 5 threes per game. This year, he's shooting more closer to 4 threes per game, 3.7 to be exact, and his rating went up. It's almost like the Joel Embiid effect. Joel Embiid is taking less threes. His efficiency is going up. Maybe that's the way it needs to be for Giannis. But if I'm on the other side and I'm seeing Giannis take threes, I'm all right with it, dude. One might go in, but if you had a 31% clip, if you're telling me he's shooting 1 out of 4, I mean, you'll live with that. You'll live with that. If Ben scores 10, 6, and 7 in the playoffs and they're winning, I wouldn't care. Individual stats when the teams are rolling. Sure. I mean, if you're winning basketball games in the playoffs, that's all that matters. It could be a big problem, though, right? Yeah, sure. I'm with you. If you get 10, 6, and 7, and I'll be honest with you. If you're winning 10, 6, and 7, I think you're winning because of Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid and Danny Green. And Ben Simmons is somewhat of like your fourth, excuse me, your fourth discussion point. And you're talking about maybe 6 assists or 7 assists. So, yes, there's something to be said about him getting his teammates open. I'm not discrediting that. But if you get 10, 6, and 7, and quite frankly, I don't care. Win basketball games. I don't care how. Win basketball games. The question all season long was, will the power of Joel and the way the team is constructed, will that make up for the Ben Simmons flaws? And only playoff games will tell us the answer to that. So that's something we've been questioning since month 3 of this season. You're right. If he gives you 10, 6, and 7, and you're winning and he's playing elite defense, then fine. That's what you're going to get. And I'm sure everyone's going to be all right with that because at the end of the day, you're winning playoff series. I think you're going to see Ben be solid in Series 1 and then possibly in Series 2 because of the matchup being the Knicks and not the Bucks. But it can really intensify. I think that conversation can intensify as maybe you play the Milwaukee Bucks for sure. I don't think so. I don't think so with Ben Simmons. No. I disagree with Ben Simmons specifically. It's different because the layers roll deeper than that. Ben Simmons has a problem. And I think downplaying that is an issue. I think pretending that's not something that needs to be discussed is an issue. Pretending that he's allowed to just not focus on such a key part of his game is a problem. With Ben Simmons, it runs deeper than individual statistics. My man is an NBA basketball player who doesn't shoot a basketball. And I kind of crack up because I remember year 1, year 2, year 3 of listening to Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio. And because back then I was in a different spot in my life when it comes to that. And I remember hearing Mike Missinelli and all these other hosts. Interesting. Hello? Hello? My screen's going black. My Wi-Fi is going crazy. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? I guess you guys can. But we're in. Yeah, I know. I don't know why that is. Now I got to exit out of everything. Hello, 1, 2. I see that I'm frozen in the chat. I have on my very late. I know. I don't know why that is. That some reason I got one. Why is it better? Now my thing went up. Okay, we're back. Yeah, we're back. All right. I think it's because I had something else on my computer that I was exporting, and then it changed it all, and now I exited out of everything. Um, so anyway, back on track here. It's year is it year 5 for Ben at this point? I lose track because of how crazy it's been for Ben Simmons, and he also had the injury. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in year 4 of Ben, but year 5 that he sat out, but he was still learning things with NBA players and whatnot. We are still having the same conversation. It's crazy. It's mind blowing. Hearing the city freak out, hearing people go crazy, and we should. We should. There's no way that you should be having the same conversation about Ben Simmons this late in his career. We're having the same exact debate, the same exact dialogue, the same exact problem, the same exact issue as we had with Ben Simmons day one. And if that isn't something that stands out to you, I don't know what is. That's true. The NBA Aussies seem to find a way to be shooting threes, and he doesn't. You know, I wouldn't say he's your leak. See, and this is where like I have the problem because now we have someone coming in saying that he's our weakest link. No, I think that's too strong because now you're downplaying what he does positively. Why I feel the way I do is because he's so damn talented, because he has such a lethal skill set. He's not your weakest link, all right? He's not your weakest link. Seth Curry in your starting 5 might be your weakest link. There might be some bench players that are your weakest link. I don't know if Ben Simmons is your weakest link. He's got a huge flaw, though. And that's fine. You're not wrong. And that's where I think you have to figure out the balance here. Like, you're right. Ben, like, and this is why I can't stand when you lose games without Ben. See? Ben's important. Well, no shit. No fucking shit that Ben Simmons is important. But that also doesn't mean that Ben Simmons is perfect. Ben Simmons has a major, 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 major hole in his game also. So yes, without Ben, you don't have the first seed because his defense is incredible and he can pass the basketball. But to act as if that means that he can't be the downfall of your team either is asinine. So it's both. It can be both. It doesn't have to be 100% Ben is perfect and 100% Ben is the dumbest player and the most ridiculous player ever. Ben is amazing. Ben is incredible. Ben is also a monster issue. Monster issue. It could be both. Hey, we got another 500 yen, which I know what that means now. From Michael. Kutch is paper happy. Needs to throw a rock. From the Jersey Shore. Been in Japan since 98. Thanks for keeping me. Wow, awesome. I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy switch in life. Thank you so much, Michael. I'm glad look, you learn something new every day. You know, when you sit at the dinner table and, well, I don't live with my parents anymore. I live with my fiance, but it's like, oh, what'd you learn today? Or what'd you learn in school? And this and that. Well, you know, maybe I'll sit down today when we're, what'd you learn today? Well, I learned the yen and I learned the currency difference. And I learned that 500 yen is equivalent to $5. So that's what I learned today. Thank you so much, Michael. And yeah, I'm with you. You see Kutch running around the bases. Now, every time I see rock, paper, scissors, unfortunately, all I think about is Nick Sirianni and that funny nonsense. But yeah, look, Andrew McCutchen's on fire, though, right now. He had that 0-2 leadoff double, 0-2 pitch leadoff double to get you going. Reese Hoskins knocks him in. That started the rally. That was huge for that 5-inning run, that 5-run inning, I should say, in that first inning. So just amazing work out of the Phillies, specifically Andrew McCutchen. He's been tearing the cover off the ball. Same with Bamboo Brad. He worked a walk, but he also had that bomb the other night to right field, second deck. Amazing. Thank you so much, Michael. Crazy. What? It's not, you don't have to tell me. I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but what made you make that move? Because that's a pretty big move. That's not going from New Jersey to Pittsburgh or New Jersey to Arizona. You went down to, or you went to Japan. It's a pretty big move. Well, no. See, I disagree once again with this. Um, there was a lot involved than just Ben Simmons last year on getting swept. I mean, I just think that using games without Ben to like describe, like, no one's saying that, and this is what I can't stand. If you remove Ben Simmons, everyone and their mother knows that this team is better when Ben is on the floor compared to when Ben is off the floor. That's not really the argument, though. Because for the people that want to get rid of Ben Simmons, logically, for a piece like a James Harden or a Bradley Beal, you're not crediting the value of those players that fill a void as well. So plucking Ben off and saying, look what you would have without Ben, well, yeah, but you're not also bringing in a James Harden. You're not adding in a Bradley Beal. And I'm not trading Ben Simmons for anything other than a superstar. That's his value. That's what he can get. And there's a reason why that is, because his skill set is amazing. So I'm not talking about slop, but I'm talking about the top of the top in this league. If you remove Ben and put in a star on top of it, you can't just devalue what that person brings to the table and act as if you're not fulfilling other needs and help. You might lose defense but gain offense. But is that enough? The NBA is built on offense. Sure, obviously. I mean, once again, that's obvious. But you're talking about the beginning stages of COVID where nobody knows what's happening. You're forced to get thrown into a bubble. Millions of teams talked about it. When you go into that bubble, not really mentally prepared. Joel Embiid, I didn't want to go there. I don't feel comfortable at all. I don't want to play in that nonsense. You have so many players openly stating, I don't want to be there. So there's a lot more involved in the world being in one of the most historic mental spots in the history of the universe, players not wanting to play, Ben not being healthy. I mean, there's so many variables to what we witnessed last season in a 4-game sweep. It's just, it's not the same. Thank you, soccer coach. I did do a little bit of some currency translation there because I had no clue. But you learn something new every day. Would I rather have traded for Harden? Yeah, I would trade Ben Simmons for Harden. Absolutely. I would have done that in a heartbeat. And with the injury, it doesn't change my opinion. I would have done it. Now with hindsight, he had a hamstring injury. Who knows if it still would have been the same, but yes, I thank you. We have established that. Yes, Ben Simmons helps you. He also hurts you. Both can be true. And to act as if that doesn't matter, well, that's being naive. Ben is a tremendous talent. Ben is a unique talent, and that's why we feel so passionate about Ben Simmons. That's why you say the word Ben Simmons, and it sparks the conversation because he is that, controversial. But both can be true. Ben Simmons could be the reason why you can win the East. Ben Simmons could be the reason why you fail in the playoffs. Regular season basketball is what it is. You can be a good player in the playoffs. You can be a good player in the regular season. You could be a bad player in the playoffs. That's for damn sure. Damn sure. We've seen that a lot with a lot of players, and there's a reason why that is. The Unknown chimes in with $8 Australian money. That's what we're going to call that. Which team do you think he'll end up with if they don't win the season? I feel the Sixers won't have a chance at championships, though, if they get rid of him. I mean, I have no idea. If they I got to see context. That's the problem. I got to see context. If you lose because of Ben, well, then, yeah. I mean, I think Daryl Morey makes a move. If you lose because your team, lost in a good, hard-fought battle, and it was 7 games, and it was crazy, and it was wild, and you just tip your cap to a good series and a good dogfight, and you could have won that series, but it was a flip of a coin type of battle. you run it back with them again. I think it matters how it's seen. If you lose in 5 games and Ben is a disaster and Ben is a nightmare, well then, you move on and you make some phone calls. The problem is I don't know what teams are available because I don't know what teams are going to be willing. There's going to be now more tape on Ben Simmons and more struggles for Ben Simmons and moving him. Also, though, there's always a coach and always an organization that thinks they could change him. Oh, I could change him. Yeah, Doc, you said the same thing. Brett Brown said the same thing. Every other coach said the same thing. I could change him. I can make him shoot. No, you can't. You can't make him shoot. No one's making him shoot. He won't shoot unless he wants to shoot. No one's making him shoot. Nobody. No one's going to force him to shoot. It just won't happen. So, it depends what teams are willing to give up that star player. Another year of seeing playoff tape of him being a mess, if that's the case. So I think it matters but that's the thing. It's no one's babying him. I think it's, dude, everyone's told him at that point. Thank you, The Unknown, for the donation. Everyone's told him. Everyone. Brett has told him. Sam Cassell has told him. Doc has told him. Every old coach has told him. His family's told him. Every single human being has told Ben Simmons to shoot. At one point, it's him, man. It's him. I mean, at every point, it's been him. I mean, there's a reason why I put all the blame on NBA players to begin with. You're in the NBA, dude. No coach needs to tell you to shoot a basketball. You're in the NBA. No one needs to tell you to shoot a basketball. You should know already. I agree, Gabe. I agree. I have a good feeling. It's wide open. There's no healthy LeBron right now on the other side. And we'll worry about the Western Conference once you get to the Western Conference. But if it's the Phoenix Suns or if it's the Utah Jazz or if it's a team like that, they're very beatable teams. They're not the Golden State Warriors that you're going up against where you're going up against a caliber squad that's won 2 straight championships. It's wide the hell open. The Milwaukee Bucks are beatable. Got to be tough, beatable. The Brooklyn Nets are beatable. Got to be tough, beatable. My point is, the Sixers are in the mix of beating any of and that's even with Ben Simmons' flaws. That's for damn sure. That's more of a product of everybody else around him. But, it is what it is. That's what it is. The Sixers are involved. The Sixers are there. The Sixers can win the championship. I genuinely feel that way. Even with Ben Simmons wanting to blow my brains out, I legitimately feel that this 76ers team can win a championship. A product of Embiid, a product of Tobias, a product of the coach, the product of the roster construction and Daryl Morey, and the product of where the rest of the league is right now. They're in the mix. They're in a spot where they're able to beat any other team involved. Robert says this. I hear a lot of Philly fans seeing the 76ers going well. Top of the East, watching Booker, Beal, or Dame, thinking if only we could trade Ben without realizing. But I think everyone realizes how important Ben is. Ben is important. I just think that, it's crazy. It's just crazy to me to think that there isn't a negative to him. And to think that negative... He doesn't shoot a basketball. He doesn't shoot a basketball. Let this sink in, all right? Because I feel like we're numb to this at this point. We're numb to it. He has helped you get that 1 seed. Now, here's another statement. He doesn't shoot a basketball. He doesn't shoot a basketball. Yeah, but his negative, because Robert chimes back in, there's negatives, right? Yes, there's negatives. There's a difference between a negative and the negative is something along the lines of, like Seth Curry. He'll probably get waxed at times defensively, but he can shoot. Okay. That's a negative for a guy. Not shooting a basketball is like a whole nother element. Like there's a huge difference in other guys having flaws and then not shooting a basketball. I mean, it's crazy. And another thing, and I love this. Random gamer brought this up. It's like he's reading my mind, right? It's the regular season, and the number one seed is going to put you at an advantage. Well, last year's thrown in the trash, though, because historically speaking, the fifth seed does not make the NBA Finals. And that was more of a product of the bubble and what you saw more so than anything else. That was more of a product of COVID-19. Most of the time, you need to be in the upper echelon of seeds 1 through 3 to get to the NBA Finals. But here is my point. The Milwaukee Bucks have been getting to the finals, or they have been, excuse me, the Milwaukee Bucks have been getting that number one seed, and they have not been getting to the finals. The number one seed is what it is. It's an advantage. It's not end-all be-all. Why? Because the NBA playoffs is not the NBA regular season. You can get by more without shooting in the regular season when you play teams like the Houston Rockets, the Pistons, the Orlando Magic, some of these other bum squads, the Cleveland Cavaliers, more so than you can in a 7-game series against a well-coached team with players on the other side that are incredible. Andrew wants to know if the process has paid off. Yes, no doubt about it. The process doesn't work until you win a championship. That's an embarrassing statement to me. Do you see the Wells Fargo Center every night before the COVID? Why do we watch the Sixers every night? Because they have Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. If they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. The point of the process was to stop being in 8th seed territory, to stop seeing in the middle of the road. You're now the 1 seed. You're now in the conversation of a squad that can go win a championship. Did the process work? Yes. You're in the conversation to go win a championship, and you have a window to do that for a decent amount of time because of who you received during the process. Winning it or not winning it, I mean, it's so hard to win a damn title. You need to for me as a fan, what I look at is every year, what do we say heading into the season? Are you in the mix? Do you have a chance? And then as the season plays out, are you still in the mix? Do you still have a chance? All I can ask for is being in that category of upper echelon teams. From there, hey, let's enjoy the playoff ride. I can't demand a championship every year. It's so hard. Be involved. Be engaged. Be a top team. Be a competitive team. Be a high caliber team. That's what the process made you every year. A team that you care about. You cry about a loss to the Cavs. You cry about losing to a team that you should beat on Tuesday night in game 52. That tells me everything I need to know about if the process worked. Yes, the process worked. You care too much. I almost hate how much the process worked because of the irrational thoughts on game 41 against a random Orlando Magic team that they lost that they should have won. That's where it is. Yeah, I don't think they're a super team. I think they're on the verge of a very good team. Like a consistent, very good team. Very good team. Super team is Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Super team is the Boston Celtics with Doc Rivers. Joel Embiid's awesome. Tobias Harris, if he's on your, I wouldn't look at Tobias. I'll never look at a team with Tobias Harris being a part of them and saying, super team. Unless if this team rolls off 4 championships in a row somehow, then yeah, I'll go super team. I can't envision that. I don't see that happening. But if you talk about Steph, Klay, and KD, and you talk about Rondo, Garnett, and Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, Tobias Harris is not on that category of super team. So unless something changes, I don't see it that way. Yeah, Gabe comes back and says over-exaggerated a bit. I would agree with you there. Why were you crying last night towards the NHL? Yeah, it's an embarrassment. The league is a joke. And I'll have more thoughts on that. This morning I recorded the Open Ice Hits podcast, which is my NHL podcast I do with Flyers insider Kevin Durso. And I'm going to be exporting that podcast as soon as Coffee with Brodes is over. So I'll have more thoughts on that. But yeah, it was a disgrace what happened yesterday. I have a good feeling too. I have a good feeling. I do think that they're going to take us on a really fun ride this summer. While the Phillies toy with our emotions and they pull us one way and bring us in another direction by winning 3 straight, even though they were 1-point games. But yeah, the NHL is hard to watch. I stopped following years ago. Why did you stop following? Why did you stop following? Why is it hard to watch? I think the product is amazing when it's not what it was last night. I thought yesterday was a clown show. When I'm watching the Maple Leafs play good game, like when I'm watching high quality hockey, fast paced, youth speed, backhanders, phenomenal sauce, the talent level of what the guys do these days, it's amazing. I mean, if you're just a guy who likes goon hockey, then go watch the East Coast Hockey League. Go watch the Fed. All right, go watch those leagues. If you want to watch real hockey and you want to watch real skill and real talent, watch the NHL. I mean, it's just okay. Speaking of yeah, I can get behind that. Strictly Flyers, definitely. I was talking more league wide. If you're watching Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, when you watch all these amazing players play, there's a beautiful craft here for sure. Brett chimes in. Brodes, great content. Thanks for the work. No problem, man. Thank you for all the support. What do you think Jalen Hurts' ceiling is? Me personally, I see shades of Russell Wilson. That's too high for me. Personally, I don't think it's that high. I think he is more of a guy that will keep you involved, but he's got a cap. I don't want to go because I think it's a different skill set, but I use Ryan Tannehill as the example. You can win, and if you're built properly, you can do something with Ryan Tannehill. You're also going to run your running back into the ground, but I think Jalen Hurts has a ceiling. Different style. It would be a different offense because you will utilize Jalen Hurts. But here's my problem. Lamar Jackson's electric. He's the most dynamic running quarterback there is. You're not going to win with this guy if you can't throw the football. You max out. There's a cap. Jalen Hurts can't throw the football. You'll max out. There's a cap. Last year was exciting for 4 games. You went 1-3. Not all his fault. But now there's more tape, and you can only scramble so much. You can only scramble for 20, 30, 15 yards here. You got to throw the football. So I think with Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, I think that's an extreme. I think he's a player that has a good attitude. He's got a good head on his shoulders. But I think physically there's a cap with this league. If you can't throw the football, you're going to be a problem. Lamar Jackson is a problem. Now, you can grow, and it might take plenty of off seasons to grow. And I'm rooting for Lamar Jackson. I want him to flip everybody off and say, fuck you, assholes. I can do it. I want to see Lamar Jackson do that. It's going to take time. It won't happen overnight. I don't know, quite frankly, if we'll ever get to that level. I'm pulling for it. But yeah, I think that he's just a guy that won't give up. He'll give you maximum effort. I think you can win football games with him. I don't know if you can look at him as a franchise guy. And I hope to be wrong because I need the Philadelphia Eagles, to have their franchise guy sooner rather than later. So that's where I'm at. De Los Santos had some electric stuff last night. He was throwing 97, man. Do you think if he gets command down that, we will have something there? Sure. If he's throwing you 97 and has that type of command, yeah. The velocity has been significantly different. He was throwing 92 last year. At a camp before, there were times where he was flashing some ugly play. And if you look at some of his statistics over some of his other short stints here with the Phillies, he has had some seasons of not so great play. Let's go to his game log. Not that he had much time here in 2019. I think he had like 19 innings pitched. 2 earned runs in 1 inning. 1 earned run in 2 innings. 2 earned runs and 2 walks in 2 innings. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks. He had a 7.36 ERA back in 2019. In 2018, he had a little bit more. He had 19 innings pitched, a 4.74 ERA, 8 walks, 15 strikeouts, 10 earned runs. He never really, looked smooth. And they talked about his velocity rising, and I think that's big for sure. But do I think the Eagles go 2-15 this year? I think they're a 5 or 6 win team. Honestly, I think they're more of a 5 and 6 win team, more in that area than anything else. That's my personal opinion on it. That's where I see it. I think a Devontae Smith edition could open up matchups for Fulgham, no doubt. I think Jalen Reagor specifically is where you're going to see more. I think Jalen Reagor is where you're going to be able to get that more dynamic, maybe some explosion underneath, where you can see the ball being thrown more underneath to him in time and space, where he can run and just kind of get his legs going and pouncing and somewhat, kind of yards after the catch. You heard Nick Sirianni specifically mention yards after the catch with some of these wide receivers. That's going to be huge for Jalen Reagor, and I think Devontae Smith is definitely a big product of that. No doubt about it. Zach says Roman Quinn with a couple of how do you do triples. Yes, some how do you do triples before going into injury list. He also, with that finger injury, had a single in that game too, and ran the from first to third on a bad throw from the pitcher to first base. So he was doing a little bit of everything before the injury there. But Andrew was copying and pasting that all show. Well, I finally got to it, so I guess it paid off. After all that, it paid off. But with that being said, everyone, we got a donation coming in here quickly before we end the show. Let's get to it. Just call me Flair with $5. If the Sixers don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals with that 1 seed, what would you say about the team? Also, you're welcome. If they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, that would be, I mean, I always say I need to see it play out. I always say there needs to be context. I always say you need to see it first before you have an opinion because it matters. I mean, it's so hard now to speculate, well, if they lose, this is how I'll feel. How did you lose? What happened in that loss? Did injuries play a role? Was Ben's problems there? Did Joel become a shell of himself? Like, what happened for you to fall that way? There's so many things. Like, what if Joel just ends up stinking? I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying no one would ever think that would happen right now. And if that did, we will feel way differently than if you fell because, whatever the other case may be. So, but getting to the Eastern Conference Finals without having to play a Bucks or a Nets, without seeing the context, I mean, it would be detrimental. It would be really, really disappointing. It would be incredibly heartbreaking, quite honestly. It would probably be heartbreaking. So that's how I would feel. It would be, you'd have to do some real self-assessment on what went wrong. Because that would be, and if it plays out the way on paper, it would be like the New York Knicks. And there's no way in hell a team with Julius Randle should be able to beat this team. With all credit in the world to who Julius Randle has become this season, it is not good enough to beat this team. So it would be crushing. Gabe wants to know about Lindor. Yeah, Lindor thing is bad, huh? Lindor is having a tough go. They actually benched him because he needed that much of a spark in the head. So, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Coffee with Brodes. Thank you all so much for the donations. Another one slipped in real quick here from Michael, 500 yen. Thank you so much, Michael, for the 500 yen. Alvarado mitt flip. That is all. Buy some coffee on my yennies. Thanks again, man. No, thank you. Thank you for teaching me something today. I am feeling great about that. Makes me feel good. I learned something today. Some might say, Brodes, you're an idiot. You don't know yen. I would say, you got to learn. How would I know a lot about yen? I don't know much about that culture. I don't know the currency difference. I don't know. So thank you. Thank you all so much.